Welcome back to GCTV as the riders inside the O2 Arena here in Prague get their course walk underway as we stand by for the GCL Super Cup semi-finals presented to you by Airbank. Daniel Deusser, John Whittaker currently in picture. Saint-Tropez Pirates, Falcons Vaart United, the spotlight will be on them. But how much of a spotlight will then fall onto the Prague Lions? And what about our defending champions, Ludger Beerbaum and the Berlin Eagles? They arguably will be one of the strongest teams to look out for later on tonight. They, along with the Stockholm Hearts, the Prague Lions and the Shanghai Swans, make their way into the semi-final lineup, joining the top 8 teams from yesterday's quarter-final. Unfortunately, no space for the Scandinavian Vikings, but it does give us the wonderful opportunity to welcome Geir Gillickson into our studio then. Geir, thank you very much for making time for us today.
Pleasure.
Now that the dust has settled, have you had some time to look back on yesterday, to think about the performance? What is your reaction to what happened yesterday?
Like, we had a very difficult season this year with many mishaps. So, you know, the season didn't go well at all, you know. On the paper, we should have done much better. So, and then we thought, okay, we'll get together for the final and try to do as well. Then on Monday, one of the best horses from Uri got a hoof abscess, so he was out. Tuesday morning, the best horse for Evelina went lame. So we lost on the 2 days 2 of the best horses for our team. So we knew going into the class yesterday, you know, we were against the wall, and you know, like we had to try to do best, but to be honest, we didn't expect to do better than we did yesterday with the team we had yesterday.
Yeah, difficult to come back from that. Let's take a look very quickly at some of the highs and lows of the GCL Super Cup quarterfinals.
It's Gerrit Nyberg who can really launch forward this Istanbul Sultans. The Sultans, this is a massive win for them.
Johnny Powell's here with Charlie.
Oh, and there's also a time fault involved. Puts them on 9.
It is Jens Backman.
You know. Oh no.
Oh, he started before the bell.
Don't tell me that he started before the bell. They're eliminated.
It is the New York Empire. And the New York Empire, they're gone.
Realistically, it's over and out, as we said, so London Knights. And this cannot go wrong for the Paris Panthers crew. There they are, the best team in the quarterfinal. That is Paris Panthers.
Difficult to try and pick an early favorite for the GCL Super Cup semi-finals, with the top 4 teams of the year coming back in, and with Paris Panthers jumping as well as they did yesterday. Madrid in Motion jumping incredibly well as well. It does make to be a very difficult night to try and pick only the 6 teams that may progress. This is the hardest round as far as progression is concerned. Half of the field is going to get cut by the end of the night. That means that out of the 12 semi-finalists that we have available, only 6 will progress. So you might give that to the Shanghai Swans, Stockholm Hearts, Berlin Eagles. Who is going to make up the remaining 3 spots then? There is certainly going to be some heartbreak before the night is over. Now, as you mentioned, Geir Gillickson is standing by alongside us, and we will be spending the rest of the night with him. Geir, let's take us through your round yesterday. We're going to bring it up on a screen for you. If you can talk us through your performance, where maybe you feel it kind of went right, where maybe it didn't go so right yesterday. Talk us through how it went yesterday.
So I come to number 1, and I had a good stride, and he jumped well there. And also I had fairly good rhythm here to number 2. Jumped also very good. And my intention was to have a little bit room to jump number 3 so I can get on the 4, because the 4 was long for me. But he got on the 4 good, and he jumped it really well. And here I plan to do 8 to make a little bit outside 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jumped that very good. And then I had to move up because there was a big oxer on the short side. And he's not all the scope in the world, but he tries hard, you know. And also this, he jumps very well, and on 3 strides he jumped good. And then I come around the corner here. I should have had a little bit more move here. So I was a little bit deep, he jumped it good, but then I have to move really quick up there, and it had a very unlucky fault
very
there.
Late fence going down.
Yeah. And here, the approach was good, and I actually also I felt it was actually very unlucky and 6 to the last. You know, not being. I felt the horse jumped a very good round. With a bit of luck, he should have actually jumped clear, you know.
So not a round that you would think would be deserving of 8 penalties, that round?
No, I you know, like I had rounds with clear, which has been much worse than that, you know.
Yeah.
But I felt that a good rhythm and the horse jumped really good. It was very unlucky. Like the first rail fell 3 strides after, and the one he just touched hardly with his front leg, you know, B of the double, which is his small horse, and he had to reach a little bit. So with a bit of luck, he would have jumped clear, you know, because he didn't really struggle, and you know, like so. You know, I'm fairly happy. Even the result, the performance was better than the result.
Geert, what is the plan for 2023? I know it's still early days. We are barely even out of the Czech Republic, but I have no doubt that in your mind you might be thinking about what the future will look like. There are some aging horses. Vidi Quattro is, what, 16 now, if I'm not mistaken? Have you started to think about some plans as to what the team will look like next year? Yeah.
We have plan and we're working on it. For myself, you know, I have a better horse which I was 5th in the global in Paris with, called Grandino. It's an 11-year-old stallion, which is on the paper can be a very, very good horse. So he will eventually take over, but he's a better outdoor horse than an indoor horse. That's why I didn't bring him here, you know. So hopefully we can have Evelina and Henrik on the team next year. And we're working on a few interesting riders to join the team for next year. So I think, you know, like we try to strengthen it more, you know, try to get better riders, you know, and do that. So that's our plan, you know. So we are looking positive, you know, like actually even the result this year, like I said, it's been not so good, but the performance has not always been as bad as the results.
Geert, what did you make of the Canstars incident yesterday? That was very unique. We had Olivier Philippart in the studio. He said that he had never seen anything like that in his life. As a senior rider, as a manager of a team as well, what would your reaction have been to that situation if it had been your team?
That's so unfortunate, you know, like, so, you know, normally there's a lot of noise in the hall and you're very focused when you go in the ring. So it's very easy, you know, you think you heard the bell and you haven't, you know. But also, the judges should also be awake, and if they see the riders on the way to number 1, they should give him a bit of help and ring the bell, not wait to his.
So you feel that they should have maybe come to his assistance instead of letting him get out?
Yes. So I'm not blaming the judges. It's our responsibility to do it right. But, you know, in this situation, you know, when things are confusing, if he sees, oh, he's on the way, then the judges should be also awake and ring the bell to help a little bit.
Okay, well, again, incident that will probably live in the history books for quite some time. That incident of Jens Bachmann, an incredibly strange incident that still a day later we are very, very surprised as to how and find out exactly how things played out. We were able to catch up with Sami Eldahan, who didn't even get into the ring. He tried to give GCTV some reaction.
It's the last show of the year. Everybody, you know, the whole team was very excited to come here. Disappointing for sure not to jump. But okay, I feel also for Jens, you know, he also had his mare really, you know, ready, and we were all really excited for this show. So for this to happen to him, I think it was a bit heartbreaking, you know, and a bit unfair as well. But that's sport. Sometimes you have to live with the disappointments. It's been the story a little bit of the year for the Canstars, a bit up and down, 2 podium finishes, but still a lot of downs and a lot of ups. So we were hoping to finish on a high, but it's not meant to be. And yeah, what doesn't kill you make you stronger, really.
Frustration on the heartbreak rather on the face of Sami Eldahan, not even getting into the ring on the biggest stage of the year. Frustrating for him and for his team, the Canstars. Now, Gareth Jenkins is standing by for us, back up in the commentary box. Gareth, welcome back. Day 2, GCL Super Cup semi-final time. Format almost feels somewhat the same. We once again find ourselves with a similar amount of teams. We welcome teams from the year back in. We have yesterday's top performers. Remind us as to how today is going to play out, who is in and who can we look forward to seeing?
Well, there were plenty of twists and turns yesterday, and I don't doubt that the format tonight will bring out a whole host of new storylines when we get to the other end. 12 teams we know about. It's the top 8 from last night. Rome, who just squeaked in, they're going to go first tonight, and then it's reverse order of merit all the way through to the Paris Panthers. But as we know, the big story is the semi-finals, the hard work, that season-long battle has given the top four the chance to miss yesterday. They start today. The Shanghai Swans. We've got the home team, the Prague Lions, then the top two. It is, of course, Stockholm, the Hearts, powered by H&M, and the Berlin Eagles, powered by Fundis, are going to be the last teams to go. And, of course, the later you go, perhaps there's the advantage, because that means you get to watch the others. And that, I guess, is where, looking at the result tonight, of course, it is only 6 teams that qualify for that final on Sunday. All scores from the 3 riders are going to count. And time, I guess, may come into play. We need, of course, to inevitably find the order, because whoever wins or comes out on top tonight, Mark, is going to be last to go on Sunday.
Gareth, it's so funny that you bring up time, because I'm quite expecting time to be a discussion maybe on Sunday in the GCL Super Cup final. I certainly wouldn't imagine that time would be a talking point in a quarter-final. How rare and unique is that?
Completely. It never happened before, but last night, by 5 seconds, unfortunately, New York missed out. Rome benefited. They went through. And when you look at the Istanbul Sultans, at the end of the day, they were the fastest of the 12s, and it pushed them up the order as well. What will happen tonight? We'll wait and find out, Mark.
Right, Gareth Jenkins, thank you very much. We look forward to your commentary, of course, standing by alongside Frederik de Backer as well. Both of those men will be bringing you all of the action later on this evening, giving it call by call, fence by fence, jump by jump. We're still standing alongside Geert Gillickson, in fact, and I want to try and get some reaction around the Istanbul Sultans. They were a real surprise. Sanne Thijssen in particular, coming out on Conquidam. We know that that is going to be her LGCT Super Grand Prix horse, and because of that, there needed to be a horse change made by Sanne Thijssen today. She has gone on and done exactly that. There will be no Conquidam. She is jumping high there today. Geert, talk to me about this young rider, about this pair of Conquidam as well. Outstanding combination. Good performance and a real surprise were the Istanbul Sultans, weren't they?
Yeah, I must see they've fighted very hard and they deserve to be in this semi-final. And yeah, Sanne Thijssen is just like a tiger, you know, like it's a unbelievable rider. And I saw the class in Madrid when she won the Grand Prix. You know, it was just outstanding. You know, like so. See, she's a girl we will see a lot in the future. She has a family, a horseback. Family which will support her all the way, you know, but she is meant to be, you know, like she's very, very good.
Should you send her an invitation to join the Scandinavian Vikings?
I can talk to Leon, the father. He one is deciding.
All right, Leon, there might well be an invitation from Geert to go on and join the Scandinavian Vikings in the 2023 Global Champions League season. Sanne Thijssen certainly has been electric over the last 12 months. Now, Frederik de Backer standing by for us inside the arena and getting ready to give us some reaction. We'll go to him in a few moments' time to see exactly what some of the major talking points and some of the changes might be. Because again, with an LGCT Super Grand Prix in tow on Saturday, a lot of these riders, much like Sanne Thijssen, has to make some changes. We know that there will be Grand Prix horses that need to be saved for the weekend. And it becomes very, very tricky for these GCL riders to now make those changes, going from GCL into the Super Grand Prix as well. Frederik de Backer, over to you. Let's talk about some of the interesting choices that firstly have been made by some various teams in the GCL semi-final tonight.
Well, Mark, the biggest surprise is, the biggest changes that have been made are the 8 penalty riders or horses that have been taken off. There's Zoe Colter, Rome Gladiators, first team to go. She has been taken off, and it is Beth Underhill with her experience. She comes in, but with a 9-year-old, with Nika van der Bisschop. Same situation it is for Stargold. That's remarkable. It was a surprise that he had those 2 fences down, and Stargold goes off, and it's aiming now, opting for Priam du Rosset. And the same choice has been made by Jérôme Guéry. He was on the lower rated, lesser experienced Azaria Dinero, but he goes to Kellom de Hus. So I think in any case that was the plan, to bring Kellom into this semi-final. That is somewhat of an understandable change. It is surprising that they didn't take off Eduardo Alvarez Aznar with Bentley de Surie 8 faults in yesterday's quarter-final, with Michael van der Vleuten and Dewis present, but they kept Edu Aznar on the team, showing confidence in the team. Now we know that Madrid in Motion is a solid team, doesn't make many changes, and they did it again here this weekend. Of course, they're also thinking about keeping Dewis and van der Vleuten fit, if necessary, for the big final, of course. Those are the biggest changes in terms of horses and riders for the teams coming in from yesterday.
Now, Friday, Frederick, those are obviously the teams that have come through from the GCL Super Cup quarter-final. We obviously welcome the top 4 contenders and finishers from the 2022 season in the semi-final today. Talk to us then about the teams that are competing today. What have they put forward? Who looks incredibly strong?
Well, there's two of those top 4 teams struggle a little bit in terms of rider power. Both Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, and Prague Lions only have 3 riders here, so they don't have many options. It's a different situation if you look, for example, at the champions, at Berlin Eagles. They have decided not to field Mumbai, but to field Mila. Mila, the 2-time Grand Prix winner of Ludwig. That's a little bit of a surprise because there was word all the time, all the week, and it was going to be Mumbai and not Mila on the team. Now that is one surprise, but if you then look at the firepower of Shanghai Swans with Dominator, with Electric Blue Pea and with Leon J, that is just outstanding. What firepower do they have there? But with all of that, we also spoke with Christian Kukuk about that surprise. Also a little bit about the ambitions for the season, but especially why Mila and why not Mumbai?
Our main goal is the team competition, as we were putting a lot of effort in over the whole year and we were so lucky to win the overall. We said, okay, also in Prague, the team is the main part and we go from there. So that's why we choose Mumbai for the team, hopefully on Sunday, and my second horse for the Super Grand Prix. But you know, like I said, over a weekend things can change and something can happen, and you know, you always have to be a little bit flexible, and there has to be a plan B and sometimes a plan C. Hopefully plan B should be enough, but you never know. But anyway, we are I think in a good position that we can be flexible. There are so many people coming from our town also to support us, and especially from my family, 13 people here to support our team over the weekend. And if that would happen, I think we would all have a big smile on our face, and we definitely would have a big party after.
Christian Kukuk having a word with GCTV earlier on this afternoon. The Berlin Eagles, powered by Fundis, will be one of the big threats for the rest of the teams. Now, Hannah Robson standing by with Anna Kellnerova to get some reaction from the Prague Lions.
Well, Anna, of course, it's a huge night here for the Prague Lions, and some people would say that the team have had the best season so far this year. Does that add a little bit of pressure, or do you think it takes them away tonight?
We've had a very good season. Of course, I think because of that, the pressure is also a little bit added. But we're here to fight, and we're going to try our best.
And talk us through some of the horses. You have your best horse, and then, of course, Niels has his best horse. Peter de Vos is on his second horse. Do you think what's the decision thinking behind that?
Well, Peter, he had to decide because he's also jumping the Super Grand Prix. So it was a situation where one of his horses would jump the Super Grand Prix and one of them would jump the team. NASCAR has been jumping very good all season, I have to say. So I think he's ready, and hopefully we're also going to be ready.
Looks like a really strong lineup. We wish you all the best. Looks like a strong one, Mark.
Anna Kellnerova and the Prague Lions hoping to perform well in front of their home fans. Still with Geert Gillickson here to get some reaction. Geert, I wonder how the format of the week is very tricky and requires very good rider management, horse management as well. We've heard now from Christian Kukuk and from the Prague Lions as well. They're doing a lot of chessboard moves with horses and riders. Talk to us about just how difficult it is to make sure that you have the best possible team with the best possible riders at every stage required here. How tricky is that?
It's tricky because you have with the live animals to do, you know, like Malin, she got injured, so Stockholm weakened the Stockholm. And like I told you before, our team, we had 2 of the best horses injured early this week, you know. And then you know, they changed the whole plan, you know, around. And sometimes you don't have the chance to pick and choose and do what you plan to do. You know, so it's very difficult, you know, like it's... and also the difficulties with this competition is that all 3 counts. You can have 2 clear rounds, and then the third one is clear to the last fence, and the horse stops and you fall off, and the whole team is eliminated. You know, so this is it's not over before the fat lady sings. You know, like so that makes it more excitement. You know, because it's not over before it's over.
Yeah, Stockholm Hearts have a very strong lineup. Both Philip Hearts brothers won the Super Cup of the London Knights last year. Peter Fredriksson needs no introduction, but there's no denying losing a rider like Marlon Vard-Johnsen is enormous. Perhaps it'll be similar to you losing Henrik von Ackermann. How hampered are the Stockholm Hearts by not having Malin Jonsson available today?
I would say they are very lucky to have three very, very strong riders. The two Philippots and Peter is world-class riders with world-class horses. So I don't think we should feel sorry for them, because I think they have a very good, strong team, even with Malin. It's a bit like Shanghai Swans. They have Marlon Sanatelli as a fourth rider. Who in hell would think that he will be the fourth rider, you know? But like the Shanghai Swans is on a paper like favorite 5 times, you know, like it's on the paper they should give 1 in odds, you know.
Yep. Well, let's see. We caught up with Olivier Philippart, if you recall. He was our in-studio guest last night, and we spoke to him about preparation. We asked him about coming out for the semi-final today. What exactly does he do towards the end of the night, throughout the day, to try and get his mind and body right for today's semi? Let's remind you what Olivier spoke about.
To myself to don't put too much pressure, because I mean it doesn't help, you know. I just try to keep things as simple as possible, just do my things in the morning, just quiet. The horse is going to get out in the morning a bit, and I'll do some flat work in the afternoon and try to get Legend as relaxed and as confident as possible for the evening. I just focus myself on the course, just put my focus and concentration just on that 10, 12, 13 jumps, and just try to make my round as specific and in detail as possible, but just in a very nice, relaxed way. I just want to do my thing and trust my horse on the quality. We have to keep an eye on the horse that jump before us and see what the results are, because if tomorrow there are many equal scores, we have to keep the time in mind. So that's very important. But to win or not, I don't think it makes any difference. I think we just got to look into Sunday, and that's all.
4 top-placed teams from the 2022 season now enter at the GCL Super Cup semi-final stage and join the top 8 teams from yesterday. Tonight is going to be ruthless. We have 12 teams in action. 6 of them go home. That is a 50% cut of the teams that we have today. Arguably, there are more than 6 good teams here, which means that there will be a lot of heartbreak for some teams today. Talk to me about who you think is looking good, who might have some trouble today.
Yeah, but if you start with the front runners, I think, you know, Berlin Eagles is strong, Stockholm Hearts and Shanghai Swans. Those 3, I think, in a normal circumstances, will go through. And then there will be a hard fight among the rest of the 3 teams, you know. That's more open. I think Falkensward United showed them very well yesterday, and with a 67-and-a-half-year-old rider jumping unbelievable, John Whittaker, you know, he just showed what horseman is, and you know, I think they can do also really well. And also yesterday, Paris Panthers looked very strong. I think the 3-1, Shanghai, Stockholm, Berlin and Paris, and then probably the 2 last places will be a hard fight among the rest, you know. But
I see you've made a little mark here by Miami as well. By Miami, are you confident that Miami might get into the final? That might be an interesting call, some would say.
When you have riders like Bertram Allen, which is unbelievable strong and perform at the top level and can perform when he's under pressure, the same with Michael G. Duffy, and Edward Smith has also fantastic results this year, you know. I think they could be an outsider to go into the final.
Everybody loves a underdog story as well. Yesterday, Istanbul Sultans were the big surprise. Gerrit Nieberg jumped really well. We know Sanatesa is the top rider. Maurice and Omar Karaevli were surprisingly good. Is there a way that this fairy tale story continues? Is there an opportunity for them to get into the final?
Of course there is opportunity today to go in the final. But, you know, there is, like Sanne has to change the horse. He's a less experienced horse. You know, and I haven't walked the course, but I'm just looking here in the arena, and from my experience, this will sort the boys from the man. You know, this is not war. This is a different story than yesterday. So today, you know, there wouldn't be any lucky results. The results who is going to come today is going to be on pure skill.
And what would your advice be to the riders today, Geert? I know yesterday didn't work out for the Scandinavian Vikings, but you're an experienced rider. You've been all over the world. This can be a very tricky ring, a very unique, small ring. If you were to give advice to these riders, how best would you tell them to challenge this course?
I think most of these riders here are at the very top level, all of them, you know, and they know how to handle this. This ring is very special. Many riders here have been in many times now, so they know the ring a little bit more, and they know how they're going to tackle the different positions where the fences are. And also the course designer up the years has learned where to put the fences to be more fairer for the riders and the horses. So I think, you know, like an Oliano, there's no better man, you know, to do this job. But the course looks serious today, and you know, you need a lot of skill from the horses and the riders today. And I think most riders here have the skill they need. It's just up to the horses to perform well, and then, you know, like it's very short from hell to heaven in this sport.
And what kind of horse do you feel that the ring like this will suit?
It got to be quick on their feet, you know, like they have to be thinking quick and be quick in reaction, because there's not a long time to approach a fence. They have to be on the toe all the way to get into the fence, you know, and so I think most riders, they also pick these horses when they go here.
All right, Geert Gillickson will be with us throughout the rest of the evening. He will be standing with us, giving us some reaction. He will watch the round with us. And, of course, later on in our post studio, Geert Gillickson will be able to give us some reaction. And by that time, we would have been able to finally determine who then will be in our GCL Super Cup final spots that will be on Sunday. So make sure you stay with us. Paris Panthers, they will be a big call. Rob Hoekstra as well. They were very, very impressive yesterday as well, Geert. Let's talk about them very quickly as well. We know that Ben Meyer was very, very good. In fact, the only fault that came from the team was from Ben Meyer yesterday. Only one change of Harry Smolders, him making a change, but Gregory Watley, Ben Meyer, Harry Smolders. Other than Shanghai Swans, could that be the most dangerous team of the night?
Yeah, it could be. You know, like you have Gregory Watley on the top horse. He's one of the best riders. He takes pressure. He used to ride on the fourth spot on the Belgian team, and many times, you know, he has to jump clear to get a medal. So he's like he's as good as you get. And then you have Harry Smolders, not any worse, you know, also a fantastic rider with a good horse, Dolin. And then Ben Meyer. I think he was lucky to have one down yesterday, because then the horse, he will remember that today, you know. So yesterday he could afford to have one fault and still get into this. So I think he's very happy that he had a fault yesterday, and hopefully he don't get anyone today.
There's always big talking points about whether or not teams want to jump a quarterfinal or avoid the quarterfinal. Now that you mentioned that about Ben Meyer saying it might be a good thing, it might get the combination working. In that sense, is it a positive that they jumped yesterday?
Yeah, I think we've seen up the years, you know. One year we started on a Thursday, and we went on and we came to the final. We ended fourth in the final. But a lot of these top four teams, which were starting, I think there was only one of that year was only one of the four who went through to the final. Because, like we said before, the arena is very special, and I think it's an advantage for the horses to be in a ring, in a competition situation, to go in a warm-up with 6 fences without fillers and without flowers is completely different than jumping a real competition.
Here's my final question, Geert. It might be a difficult one. What do you think will be a safe score tonight for the teams? What score should they be chasing to get into the final?
I think around 12 faults would get them in, you know.
So anyone 12 and under should be safe into a final?
That's what I would think, you know, from these riders, because these riders are with these horses. When you see like Shanghai Swans with Christian Ahlmann, you know, on 2 times the Grand Prix winner this year with Dominator, Electric Blue, everybody knows is one of the best horses in the world, and Martin Fuchs is probably riding the best horse in the world.
Yeah, all right, well, it is going to be a fascinating semi-final. You are staying with us. Geert will be with us throughout the rest of the night. We remind you, this is the GCL Super Cup semi-final presented by Airbank. Shanghai Swans, Prague Lions, Stockholm Hearts and the Berlin Eagles join yesterday's top-performing 8 teams, and only 6 of them will go through to the GCL Super Cup final that'll be taking place on Sunday, I beg your pardon. So stay with us here on GCTV. We are at the O2 Arena in Prague, and we are getting ready for the GCL Super Cup semi-finals.